You know, it's a good thing that Doom Eternal is actually coming out on time, because if it wasn't, that would be pretty bloody hilarious. It would actually be an even bigger joke than Duke Nukem Forever. Duke Nukem Forever was taken forever, whereas, thankfully, Doom Eternal is not. Although it does seem like it has been an eternity since we got a Hell on Earth game. Doom 1 was remade at least 3 times. Although, one could say that Doom 64 was kind of a sequel, interquel kind of thing. Still though, Doom 3, remake of Doom 1. Doom 2016, remake of Doom 1. Finally, we're getting a remake of Doom 2 after all this time. And I hate to admit it, and it pains me to admit, that after seeing that gameplay reveal, I am extraordinarily excited. I have not been this excited for a game in a very long time. However, one must always remember that trailers, gameplay expos, and things of that nature aren't always to be trusted. Lest we forget Colonial Marines. Oh, how awesome did that look? Come to find out that it had absolutely nothing to do with the real game. So, yeah, just keep that in mind. Now, there's a lot of stuff to like in that Doom Eternal gameplay reveal. Doom guy showing up on Phobos, you know, they know just how badass he is. The one thing I really liked about, though, was Doom guy did not attack any of the non-demonic humans, which fits with his character. And I like that one scene especially where he's got the guy by the key card and dragging him over to the key card reader. I also really like, even though I don't really like the design, the fact that the plasma rifle now looks like the original plasma rifle. That bloody elephant trunk thing. You know, I like it because it's reminiscent of the original plasma rifle, but I never really liked that design all that much, as it does look kind of silly, and it still looks kind of silly, but you know what? I'm glad it's back. I'll admit that as well. I'm glad to see him back in space as well. I'm glad the whole game doesn't take place entirely on a demonic Earth. So it looks like also, now we only saw I think like a couple levels, but from the little bit that we did see, it looks like they're going to have far fewer of those bloody arenas, which makes me very, very happy because that was the weakest aspect of Doom 2016. They just reused arenas over, well, I didn't reuse arenas, but they just used arenas way too much. And, you know, your first playthrough, it's not that bad. But as you play the game multiple times, and I've played Doom 2016 about at least 3 times at this point, once you hit that third playthrough, it starts to get really dull. When I was doing my Let's Play of Doom 2016, I got kind of sick of just, oh, here's another arena, I'm gonna get locked in, I have to fight all enemies until I can pass. You know, that really gets old fast. And I'm glad to see them moving away from that. One thing that really interested me more than anything else was they got a parkour system going on in there. And I happen to like parkour systems in first-person shooters if they are done right. And it looks like they have done it right. I haven't seen a good parkour system in a first-person shooter since Turning Point Fall of Liberty. Turning Point Fall of Liberty had one, and it was actually pretty bloody good. And I'm probably going to die here. That parkour system, I love how with this particular Doom 2 remake mod and Project Brutality, it's just, this frame rate's just tanking. Because it's not, the Doom engine is not really designed to take this. Also, it appears that enemy counts are a bit higher than Doom 2016, which is also a very good thing as well. Graphics don't look that much better, at least the build that I saw. The graphics don't look that much better than Doom 2016's. Which is not that big a deal for me, just because graphics don't make the game. The game makes the game. Now, we didn't see much story. We did see Doom Guy finally interacting with real humans. I really like that. I really did, because I would like to see Doom Guy interact with more things than just the demons, the demonios. Now, what I would like to see is a little more back and forth. Now, I'm pretty sure Doom Guy won't talk, even though I still would like... Come on, why would you not want to see a Michael Ironside-voiced Doom Guy? That would be awesome! But, even if that doesn't happen, I do hope to see more Doom Guy hand gestures, you know, because that was a really memorable part of Doom 2016, and it didn't really factor that much into the game. He didn't do that much, but for what little he did, it was really, really entertaining. Because it gave Doom Guy way more personality. And that is really key. You know, Doom Guy not having any personality, you know, in the early games was fine. You could really kind of imprint upon Doom Guy, which is kind of annoying because even though it's supposed to be you, I'm not some sort of space marine living in the 22nd century. So, yeah, giving him a character is always good. At least in my opinion. Now, the parkour system, going back to that, it looks like it should control fairly well. And I'm glad it's not just mantling. Mantling surprised me with how fun it actually was. And it looks like they're just taking that to a greater extent. And I think if implemented well, and if they implement it throughout the entire game and not just that one level, it should prove to be quite a bit of fun. And so, in terms of story, that's the thing. I really hope they actually have a open and closed story. They don't just leave it open for a sequel at the end, because Doom Guy needs to save the Earth in some way. Close off the Hell Portal, maybe fight Space Satan. But these days, people always want that third sequel for some reason, and the third sequel is never as good as the first two. Case in point, Dead Space. Dead Space 3 wasn't bad, but it wasn't that good either. And sadly, Dead Space 3 just... Dead Space 3... they torched that franchise and ran screaming from it, sadly. So, what would a real Doom third sequel be like? I don't know. It's like, that's kind of uncharted territory in many instances. You know, we had some Doom 3-like properties, like Doom 64, but how much of a sequel Doom 64 really was, I just couldn't tell you. Mainly because I haven't played it in a long time. Whoa, we're getting slideshow frame rate. The Doom engine really doesn't like all these enemies. This is actually Maps of Chaos here. And Maps of Chaos has a shitload of enemies in it, which is why it's one of my favorite mods to actually play. It is really quite challenging. But the challenge I can do... Those fucking paladins. Alright, let's see, where was I? Yeah. Actually having a third sequel. Final Doom, I suppose... could be like a post-Doom 2 sequel in many instances, but once again, story didn't play that much of a factor. I do want to see a game with Space Satan in it, where you finally defeat Space Satan once and for all. But, will we get that? I don't know. I want to see Earth saved in some way. Now, they could try to do like a reset where like Doom Guy goes back in time, but I doubt that. What would make for a good conclusion of Doom 2 X2 would, of course, be where Doom Guy helps the evacuation ships leave the planet. Now, that actually did happen in the original Doom 2. Come on, let me... Fucking got sniped from the rear. In the original Doom 2, Doom Guy does help the remnants of humanity escape from the demonic invaded Earth. It's just a text screen, but it's there. And so I think that would make for a good conclusion. You could have some really well-detailed evacuation ships, and that'd be a good stopping point. And then maybe like have there be one final boss where you can defeat the Icon of Sin, and that kind of like strips all the demons from Earth, and then the humans can come back. It's just getting a really good ending for Doom 2 X2 is going to be somewhat difficult. Just because there's still so much to do, and it really would be uncharted territory, though. I just hope Doom Eternal actually does well, because I would hate to see yet another bloody remake of Doom 1. It's high time for a Hell on Earth remake. I really hate those goddamn shields. I really do. They fucking annoy me to no end. We're getting such a slideshow frame rate, but just so many enemies, so worth it. So bloody worth it, literally. Now, let's see. The Architron coming back is good, even though it really is just sort of a smaller version of the Spider Mastermind. I was surprised it wasn't in Doom 2016. I was also surprised that the Revenant did not make a... Oh, I picked up that thing! I thought I died there for a second. I was surprised that the art file didn't show up in Doom 2016, because the art file did show up in Doom 3. The introduction of the art file was really quite cool, to say the least. Now, one thing I would like to have seen... I don't think the gameplay reveal actually talked about that. I would like to have seen something about co-op in that, because really, these days, it would be nice if Doom Eternal had a co-op campaign, where, you know, like, you could play... One player, you know, plays as Samuel Hayden. But, oh well. All you gotta do with Samuel Hayden is just shrink him down a little bit. Take him from, like, 8 feet tall to just, you know, regular feet tall. And that would probably make for a better experience. But, oh well. From what I saw, I am very impressed. And I'm cautiously optimistic about the game. I'm cautiously optimistic. I really hope it's good. I hope it also avoids any politics. I think that, for many people, put a bad taste in their mouths for Wolfenstein 2, The New Colossus. And I can understand that. I was able to overlook that and just enjoy the game for what it was. But I really hope Doom Eternal is not political in any way. I mean, these days, you never know, which, that definitely sucks, but... I'm just hoping it's just demons, Doom Guy, and maybe like some sort of 80s style politics, you know, it's like, the corporations are running everything, man, not, we need to become communist for the greater good. The greater good. I'm hoping they forgo that, because really, Doom does not need to be political in any way, shape, or form. Doom just needs to, you know, maintain its objectivity. But, as is always the case, we just have to wait and see. But I really do hate to admit it, I'm actually legitimately excited. But you're not supposed to get excited by hype, because hype is lies. But I don't know, man. It looks really good. I definitely am very excited. I think this new id Software, even though they're playing it less safe than they did with Doom 2016, I think, actually now that I think about it, likely id Software is going to end up doing kind of what they did with the modern-day Tomb Raider games. Tomb Raider 2013 was played very safe, so it was sort of a guaranteed million seller. And then in Rise of the Tomb Raider, they actually didn't play it safe. They had a little more freedom. Now with Doom Eternal, I believe, at least from what I have seen, they're going to play it much less safe than they did with Doom 2016. Because the bloody arenas, the things I hate so much, were definitely a way to play it safe. Now, I think they've scrapped the arenas entirely, at least I hope they have, or at least they've reduced them. Now they're playing it like, you know, a real classic first-person shooter. We'll just have to see. We will just have to see. I'm very excited, even though I probably shouldn't be. And so, we're going to shoot the rest of these zombie men. Oh, that is one other thing I almost forgot. I'm glad I did not end it here. The art design is getting back to the way I kind of like it. The zombie men now have green hair again. It's like, it's I hate to admit it, I'm pretty excited. I've not been this excited in a long time for a game. They gave the zombie men green hair. It's like, that was I guess it wasn't a problem. It was just one thing that kind of irked me about Doom 2016 is that the zombie men were just generic looking creatures, where now in Doom Eternal they actually look, you know, like humans. And I meant to find that. They now look like humans, but they look like the original ones with modern day graphics, which made me so excited I had to sneeze. So yeah. Also, the pain elemental. That is one other thing. That's the one problem with doing this stream of consciousness. The pain elemental is back, and I gotta admit, it looks kind of goofy. It has sort of like a frowny face, which looks a little silly, but you know what? I'm willing to let that go. The Cacodemon looks a little silly as well. And the Pinky just looks ridiculous still, but you know what? I'm willing to let that go as well. So in any event, this is Generallotz, way too excited for a game that he hasn't seen or played yet, signing off.